So now going over the actual ratio computation, now that we have our four basics, right? We're performing the equity check, assets minus liabilities equals equity, and then we're just comparing the equity we've added to this equity. Gives us extra comfort that we are completely set here, okay? The other thing you can always do is if you do Control-Shift down and hold, this gives you the summary statistics of the file. For example, you have 2,503 rows here, and it can show you, anytime it can show you the average of those ratios. So you can do certain things by already seeing, hey, what's the average ratio here, okay? But to do further analysis, we need to really do a pivot table. So that's what we're going to work with. And you compute your ratios. Your profit margin is your net income over sales. Asset turnover ratio is we're working with your sales over assets, right? Return on investment, we can actually multiply these two. And return on equity is net income over equity. Now, equity multiplier is total assets divided by equity. That's the leverage ratio. And this is the DuPont ROE, which is your ROI times the equity multiplier. So these are things that are all, this is the full, all-fledged out DuPont model that we can look and we can see all the companies with it. You know, you can view your data, make sure that it's clean. That's one thing that is a huge emphasis in reality, right? And then to do our analysis, we go ahead and we insert the pivot table. We insert the pivot table, and once we're in the pivot table, on the left-hand side, we can look at industry. Okay, let's find the industry. Company industry is on this left-hand side. And then we're gonna look at our ratios to see what is going on here. And keep in mind, we are looking for averages. Why averages? We are averaging the ratio by industry. We want to see what is the industry average for this ratio. So it literally grabs all the fields, all the profit margin in an industry, right, and provides it to us as an average. A sum wouldn't do us any good because it would just be, it wouldn't tell us how good the profit margin is. It would just be a sum of a bunch of integers, I mean fractions, right? So if we do the average, we're trying to see by average by industry. We could also look at specific companies even. So this is all to answer the question of who is doing well, who should I be investing in, right? So when we look at that, let's see, maybe it could be even a percentage actually, right? So it could be a percentage, 1 decimal point, and we can start seeing what is what here in terms of average ROE. We can see consumer staples is high, industrials is high, multiplier should be more of an integer, and we can see who's highly leveraged, and we can see who's doing best in their DuPont ROE, right? So this is something that we can see, we can use to analyze the companies, and we can see who's doing better. And as you saw, you could also drill down and you could look at specific companies in specific industries to drill down to see more detail.